Well, right now we're going to talk community policing and the Neighborhood Watch program, which has taken hold quite nicely here in New Providence. For that, we're going to join our live guests, Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean, who brought two guests along with him. Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Dean, but also we have Laquelle Johnson, and Keno Wong, who run neighborhood watches in their respective communities. But first, Mr. Dean, this National Neighborhood Watch started back in April, so we're about 8 to 9 months in. Tell me about how these have caught fire and what the impact has been.
I can tell you now, this is evidence-based that the Bahamian people have reached that point that enough is enough, that they want to do something. We've reached that crossroad as the crime prevention. So I'm telling you, Bahamian people are on board with this. We started with about just under 20 groups. And since the launch of the National Neighborhood Watch Council, we have over 74 groups in New Providence and 8 groups in Grand Bahama, and we're looking at 1 or 2 more family islands. But what it's really doing is providing evidence-based crime prevention tips for our residents, how best to keep the community safe, and rekindling the community spirit in a number of communities. So we are seeing some positive things happening. Community groups are coming together. People are saying, look here, we're not going to let criminals override our community. We can take charge of our communities.
Well, Laquelle Johnson is from the Stapleton Neighborhood Watch. What can you tell us about how things were in Stapleton and what changes you've seen since the program was implemented?
Yes, prior to the National Neighborhood Watch, we have become more empowered. In Stapleton, persons were more laid back and not quite following what's happening. But with the National Neighborhood Watch, we've been empowered, we've been strengthened. We're no longer afraid to look over our backs. We're no longer afraid to go out in the night. We patrol. We have members coming out together through forming camaraderie. We have persons forming game nights now. We have persons on blocks. We have our breakfast on Blenheim coming up. We have we've had a mix and mingle. So what is forming is a lot of more camaraderie because persons on various streets didn't know one another. You go to the clothesline, persons wouldn't even say good morning to one another. Now what we're having is a lot of camaraderie coming out of it and a sense of awareness. The police are our partners and we're getting the information we need, and the knowledge is going out there to our residents in terms of what's happening, break-ins or whatever the case may be. And now we know how to strategically battle, and most importantly, we're reaching out to the youth. Our basketball court is the place where we want to really get to the youth to help to solve these criminal activities in our community.
Keno Wong Sr., what's happening in Johnson Terrace in the east?
Well, in Johnson Terrace, we have a diverse community with about 45 to 50 home residents. In that community specifically, there is almost predominantly retirees and, of course, business owners and middle-class individuals. And so once the program came on board in April, we saw the initiatives to be a part of something so important for our community, but not just for our community, but for the wider Bahamas, from Grand Bahama straight down to Inagua, knowing that once we are partnershiping with our law enforcement agencies, there is so much that we can accomplish as a community. And so Johnson Terrace, like I say, is a small knitted community. We are combined together. We just had our annual Christmas gathering in our community park where we had turnover was tremendous, where the community came together, we shared, we talked, and we spoke about the entire year from January to December. And I just want to say hats off to all of those individuals in our community, especially Wyoming Hyler, who came on board tremendously, and Mr. Craig Gibson, who showed his support over the year. And so with these individuals and so much more, we are dealing with the effects of crime, and our community actually is together, like our sister said here. You have neighborhoods, like neighbors who comes together and share, and when they pass you in the morning, they'll say hi, good morning, and when they're traveling, they let you know. So we are in a community that is battling this crime dilemma, but we are happy to be, like I said earlier, partnershiping with the law enforcement agency under the National Neighborhood Watch Council.
And I'll give you the last 10 seconds, Mr. Dean. You may have inspired me here, and I may want to start up something on my street. How do I get that partnership going with police?
Well, we are saying to all Bahamians and all residents, Bahamians and residents alike. You're in New Providence, you're anywhere in the Bahamas, you want to do something with your community, get together with your and form a neighborhood watch group in your community. Contact your nearest police station and they will have a liaison officer come to you to form. We feel that while we might have all the technology in the world, but the best defense against crime is the eyes and ears of you, people in the neighborhood.